prosthetic arm clicked softly against the stainless steel counter as Alex Rodriguez adjusted his grip on the knife, and in that moment, the entire MasterChef kitchen seemed to hold its breath. 29 years old, former Army sergeant, and missing his left arm from the elbow down since an IED explosion in Afghanistan 3 years ago, Alex had learned to cook with one hand, one prosthetic, and more determination than most people possessed in their entire bodies. When he looked up at Gordon Ramsay with eyes that held both pain and unshakable resolve and said, "I lost my arm, chef, but I never lost my dreams," the words hit the kitchen like a thunderclap, and in that moment, 15 cameras captured the exact second when a cooking competition became something far more profound, a testament to the human spirit's refusal to be defined by what it had lost rather than what it could still create. The cameras kept rolling, but this was no longer about culinary competition. This was about a young man who had learned to see obstacles not as limitations, but as opportunities to discover strength he never knew he possessed, and what happened when that strength transformed everyone's understanding of what it truly meant to never give up. It started as the most grueling pressure test of the season. 6 contestants remained after months of elimination challenges, each one fighting for their place in the semi-finals. The MasterChef kitchen blazed under studio lights, every surface gleaming with the kind of perfection that made great television. Gordon Ramsay commanded the space with his signature intensity, his white chef's coat pristine, his energy focused on identifying the strongest remaining cooks. "Today's pressure test," Gordon announced, his voice cutting through the kitchen's electric tension, "is about precision under extreme time pressure. You have 60 minutes to break down a whole chicken, prepare 3 different cooking methods, and plate a restaurant-quality dish that showcases your technical skills. 60 minutes, whole chicken breakdown, multiple cooking techniques." For most contestants, it was a challenging but manageable task. For Alex Rodriguez, standing at Station 2, it represented something entirely different, another chance to prove that adaptation could be stronger than limitation. Alex stood with quiet confidence in his chef's whites, his prosthetic left arm clearly visible, but worn with the same professional pride as his knife roll. At 29, he carried himself with the bearing of someone who had faced genuine life-or-death situations and understood that a cooking challenge, no matter how intense, was just another problem to solve. What the cameras captured, but didn't sensationalize, what the producers had documented but hadn't exploited, was that Alex had lost his left arm in an IED explosion during his 3rd tour in Afghanistan. He'd spent 2 years learning to walk again, learning to write again, learning to perform basics, daily tasks that most people took for granted. But more than anything, he'd spent those years learning to cook again because cooking was what had kept him sane during deployments, and cooking was what would keep him connected to life when he came home. Your time starts now. 5 contestants immediately grabbed their chickens and began breaking them down with practiced efficiency. Alex approached his bird differently, methodically, strategically, with movements that had been refined through hundreds of hours of adaptation and practice. His technique was remarkable to watch. The prosthetic arm, controlled by muscle movements in his residual limb, served as a sophisticated clamp and stabilizer. His right hand moved the knife with surgical precision, while his prosthetic held the chicken in perfect position. What might have been a limitation had become a tool of extraordinary stability and control. "Impressive technique at Station 2, Gordon murmured to Aaron as they watched Alex work. There was no condescension in his voice, just professional recognition of skill under unusual circumstances. Alex's knife work was flawless, clean joints, precise cuts, efficient movement that wasted neither time nor motion. He was breaking down his chicken faster than some contestants who had both hands, his movements economical and purposeful, in ways that spoke to extensive practice and absolute focus. "Behind you, hot," called Jennifer as she moved past with a searing pan. Alex shifted smoothly without looking up from his work, having developed spatial awareness that bordered on supernatural. His military training had taught him to track multiple threats simultaneously. A busy kitchen was just another environment that required constant situational awareness. 20 minutes into the challenge, Alex was ahead of most contestants in preparation, but Gordon noticed something else remarkable about his approach. While others seemed frantic, stressed by the time pressure, Alex worked with calm efficiency that suggested he understood something about pressure that his fellow competitors had never learned. "Alex," Gordon said, approaching Station 2, "tell me about your preparation strategy." Alex looked up briefly, his expression focused but not stressed. "Planning is everything, Chef," he said, his voice carrying the slight Oklahoma accent of his childhood. "In the Army, we called it slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take time to think through each step, execute with precision, avoid the mistakes that come from rushing." Gordon watched as Alex continued his preparation, seasoning his chicken pieces with methodical care, his prosthetic arm providing stability that allowed his right hand to work with remarkable precision. "The prosthetic?" Gordon asked with genuine curiosity. "Does it give you advantages in some techniques?" Alex's face showed a slight smile, the first emotion he'd displayed since the challenge began. "Actually, yes, Chef. It doesn't get tired, doesn't shake, doesn't get hot. It's like having a perfectly steady sous chef who never needs a break." As Alex moved to his stovetop, his unique approach became even more apparent. He was using 3 different cooking methods simultaneously: roasting thigh pieces in the oven, pan-searing breast meat on the stovetop, and preparing a confit leg in a low-temperature oil bath. The coordination required was extraordinary, but Alex managed it with a kind of multitasking that spoke to years of adaptation and practice. 30 minutes remaining, Gordon announced. Alex was executing his 3 cooking methods with precision that impressed even the judges. His prosthetic arm held pans steady while he stirred, provided perfect stability for knife work, and allowed him to plate with control that some two-handed chefs struggled to achieve. But what really caught Gordon's attention wasn't just Alex's technique, it was his demeanor. While other contestants showed signs of stress, Alex maintained the calm focus of someone who had learned to perform complex tasks under far more serious pressure than a cooking competition could provide. 15 minutes remaining. Alex began plating his dish, and this was where his unique approach truly shone. The prosthetic arm provided unwavering stability for his plate, while his right hand created precise, elegant arrangements. His chicken was cooked perfectly, 3 different methods showcasing 3 different textures and flavors, all unified by skillful seasoning and professional presentation. As the final minutes ticked down, something unexpected happened. Alex's prosthetic arm, which had been functioning flawlessly throughout the challenge, began making subtle clicking sounds that suggested a mechanical issue. For just a moment, Alex's composed expression showed a flicker of concern. The prosthetic was still functional, but the sounds indicated that something wasn't working at optimal levels. 5 minutes! Start thinking about final presentation. Alex continued working, adapting immediately to the prosthetic's reduced functionality. He modified his plating technique using different hand positions to compensate for the mechanical issues, never stopping, never showing frustration, just solving the problem and moving forward. "Time! Hands up! Step back!" Alex stepped back from a plate that looked like it belonged in a fine dining restaurant. 3 perfectly cooked pieces of chicken, each showcasing different techniques, arranged with precision and garnished with elements that showed both technical skill and artistic sensibility. The judging began, and Gordon approached Alex's station with the other judges. Even before tasting, it was clear that something exceptional had been created under challenging circumstances. Gordon cut into the roasted thigh, perfectly cooked, juicy, seasoned throughout. The pan-seared breast showed ideal color and texture. The confit leg demonstrated technique that many professional cooks struggle to master. Gordon took his first bite, and his expression changed immediately. The flavors were extraordinary, but there was something else, a completeness, a confidence that spoke to deep understanding of ingredients and techniques. This wasn't just well-executed chicken. This was chicken that had been prepared by someone who understood cooking at a fundamental level. "Alex," Gordon said, his voice softer than usual, "this is exceptional work. The execution is flawless, the flavors are beautifully balanced, and the technique shows professional-level understanding." Alex stood quietly, his prosthetic arm at his side, waiting for the complete critique. "But beyond the technical execution," Gordon continued, "I want to understand something. You just broke down a whole chicken, executed 3 different cooking methods, and plated a restaurant-quality dish in 60 minutes with one hand." Gordon looked directly at Alex. "How is that possible?" Alex's response would resonate in that kitchen long after the cameras stopped rolling. "Chef, when I was in Afghanistan, I learned that you don't overcome obstacles," Alex said, his voice steady and thoughtful. "You adapt to them. You find new ways to accomplish the same goals." Alex gestured toward his prosthetic arm. "When I lost my arm, I had a choice. I could focus on what I couldn't do anymore, or I could figure out what I could do better." The kitchen was completely silent now, every person focused on Alex's words. "Cooking with one hand and a prosthetic taught me things that cooking with 2 hands never could," Alex continued. "It taught me economy of movement, precision of planning, the importance of understanding exactly what each technique requires." Alex paused, his expression growing more intense. "In Afghanistan, we had a saying, 'Adapt and overcome.' But I learned something better, adapt and excel. Don't just figure out how to do what you used to do. Figure out how to do it better than you ever imagined." That's when Alex said the words that would stop the competition and change everything. "I lost my arm, chef, but I never lost my dreams. If anything, losing my arm taught me that dreams are stronger than obstacles." The silence that followed was profound. Several contestants were openly crying. Camera operators seemed moved by the raw honesty and strength of Alex's words. Gordon stared at Alex for a long moment, processing not just what he'd heard, but what it meant about courage, adaptation, and the human capacity for growth. Behind the scenes, Gordon made a decision that was unprecedented in MasterChef history. "Alex," Gordon said, his voice thick with emotion, "in 30 years of professional cooking, I have never encountered someone who embodies what it means to be a chef more completely than you do." Gordon stepped away from the judges' table and walked directly to Alex. "Cooking isn't just about technique or creativity," Gordon continued. "It's about problem solving, adaptation, persistence, and the refusal to let circumstances define your limitations." Gordon extended his hand to Alex, who shook it firmly with his right hand. "Alex, you're not just safe from elimination," Gordon announced. "You've earned something that I've never offered before. A guaranteed place in the finale because you've shown us what cooking looks like when it's powered by unbreakable determination." The kitchen erupted in applause, but Gordon wasn't finished. "More than that," Gordon continued, "Alex, I want to offer you something. When this competition ends, I want you to come work in one of my restaurants. Not because of your story, not because of what you've overcome, but because you're one of the most skilled and dedicated cooks I've ever encountered." Alex's composed expression finally cracked. Tears began sliding down his cheeks as he processed what Gordon had just offered. "Thank you, chef," Alex managed to say. "That means everything to a soldier who just wanted to come home and cook." What happened next was unlike anything in MasterChef history. The other contestants abandoned their own concerns about advancement and surrounded Alex, not with pity or awkward sympathy, but with genuine respect and admiration for someone who had just expanded their understanding of what dedication looked like. "Dude, watching you work today was incredible," said Marcus, shaking Alex's hand with obvious respect. "The precision, the planning, the way you adapted when your prosthetic started acting up, that was masterclass cooking under pressure." "You've changed how I think about problem solving in the kitchen," added Jennifer. "The way you turned a limitation into an advantage, that's something I'll remember for the rest of my cooking career." Gordon watched the group surrounding Alex. and realized something profound about the nature of strength and inspiration. What we've learned today, Gordon announced to the entire kitchen, is that great cooking isn't about having perfect conditions. It's about bringing excellence to whatever conditions you face. Gordon approached Alex one more time. Alex, I want to ask you something, Gordon said. What would you say to other veterans who might be struggling with their own adaptations? Alex considered the question seriously, his face showing the thoughtful expression of someone who understood the weight of his platform. I'd tell them that the same skills that made us good soldiers make us good at everything else, Alex said. Mission focus, adaptation, the refusal to quit, working as a team, those don't disappear when you come home. Alex's expression grew more intense as he continued. And I'd tell them that whatever you've lost, it doesn't define what you can still build. Every day is a chance to prove that your dreams are stronger than your circumstances. The kitchen was completely silent as everyone processed these words. But most importantly, Alex concluded, I'd tell them that asking for help isn't weakness, and that building something new doesn't mean forgetting what you've lost. It means honoring it by refusing to let it stop you. Gordon stood quietly for a long moment, and when he finally spoke, his voice carried a weight that surprised everyone. Alex, Gordon said, thank you for reminding all of us what real strength looks like. The episode, when it aired, became more than television. Veterans organizations across the country began developing culinary training programs. Culinary schools started incorporating adaptive cooking techniques into their curricula. The James Beard Foundation created a scholarship program for disabled veterans pursuing culinary careers. But perhaps most importantly, the episode changed how people thought about disability, adaptation, and the difference between overcoming obstacles and transforming them into advantages. Alex went on to win the entire MasterChef competition, but by then, the victory was almost secondary. He'd already proven something more valuable than winning a cooking show. He'd proven that excellence has many forms, and that sometimes the most extraordinary achievements come from those who refuse to let circumstances define their possibilities. Today, Alex runs a culinary training program for veterans transitioning to civilian careers, focusing on adaptive techniques and kitchen leadership skills. His restaurant, Semper Kitchen, employs veterans and serves food that tells stories of service, sacrifice, and the unbreakable human spirit. Above his kitchen hangs a photo from that MasterChef episode. Alex with his perfectly plated chicken, Gordon with profound respect in his eyes, and the other contestants surrounding them both with genuine admiration. Below the photo, a simple plaque with the words that defined his journey: adapt and excel. Dreams are stronger than obstacles. Because that's what Alex Rodriguez taught everyone that day, that true strength isn't about having perfect conditions, it's about bringing excellence to whatever conditions you face, and that the most powerful cooking comes not from what you have, but from what you refuse to let stop you.